Hi, Coach. First win in Wichita Falls and for the program. I mean, first win in about a decade there, so go into that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know about the other 6 years, but that was our first win in 4 years. And, they've had some really good teams. They've had some Elite Eight teams, so they were good in the past. I'm not really too sure what happened before I got here, but, we've had some tough games over there. And this was a good one to get for us, though. It was something that, the way we beat them was a lot of fun.
When shooting so well from long range, that's been something that the team has done consistently, and a lot of different players, of course, shooting well. And so kind of moving in and getting into now, about to be senior week, and for these different players, and the kind of that confidence going forward.
So, yes, what was the question?
So the question is the confidence going forward as you kind of move on and getting to the latter stages of the season.
Yes, we shoot the ball really well. We've got multiple guys that can shoot it, and we try to spread the floor out. And, we just play basketball is what we do.
We knew that David and Jordan Evans are going to be really good this year, but kind of talk about the development of like Gotch and a couple of the other players.
Well, Gotch I knew was going to be good. That's why we recruited him, and he was a heck of a player for Austin High School in Minnesota, where I saw him a few years ago, and we've kept in contact, and we were very fortunate to get him. He's a great person on and off the court, and he can really shoot the basketball, and his defense is fantastic. He's not real big. He's a little bit thin, but he plays really hard, and he's got a great motor, and that's something that is contagious. And I think that rubs off on other players. So, yeah, Gotch is a very good player for us.
You got Cameron coming in. Talk about what do you think?
Kingsville?
Kingsville coming in, sorry, and then you ended
With Angelo.
Sorry
Right.
about that.
That's okay.
Kingsville coming in.
I don't want to go another overtime
Yeah.
or 4 overtimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
with
that's-
Cameron.
I got Cameron
But
on the brain.
Kingsville, we've always had tough games with Kingsville as well. I mean, they're going to run their motion or their little offense that they run, and they're going to have their cutters going through a ton of ball screens, and so we've got to chase their guards. Their big kid inside can really jump, very explosive, and he gives us trouble at times. And so we've had some really good games with Kingsville the last few years. They were a regional team last year, and it'll be a good ball game on Thursday. And then Angelo is right there in the thick of things for the regional as well right now. They split this last weekend, but they have some players that can really go, and they've got a lot of size, and they've got guys that can go one-on-one and score. So we've got to be able to stay in front of people against Angelo as well as Kingsville, and hopefully can get a couple W's this weekend.
This will be the last 2 home games for your seniors. Can you talk on them real quick?
Yep, last 2 regular home games for our seniors, and that's Tommy Gove, Rylan Gerber, David Chavlovic, and Jordan Evans, and those guys have meant a lot. Rylan Gerber is the only player that I did not recruit. He was here previously with Coach Cooper, and he was a walk-on, I know, for Coach Cooper, and he's actually earned some scholarship money for us. The way that he's played and in the classroom, he's earned it, he deserved it, and it's nice to give the reward to those players. Tommy Gove was a staple until he got hurt, and it's really tough not having him out on the court right now. And David Chavlovic, all-time leading scorer here at WT, has a chance to be the all-time leading scorer in the LSC. And Jordan Evans, probably one of the best shooters that I've had an opportunity to coach, as well as David. David can really fill it up as well. But just great. Those 4 men are just great would be great in any program. I think they're really special for us. They've led us to a 22-2 record right now, and kind of put WT on the map a little bit for men's basketball.
Getting back to kind of Kingsville and Angelo State, those games were super close on the road and came down to the wire. What one thing do you think could tip the scale in the games at home?
It's finishing games at the end. In those 2 games specifically, it was finishing. They were getting to the basket. We couldn't stop them in the Kingsville game, and they were drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. So we got to really work a little bit on one-on-one, and then when they do run the ball screen, our big guys have got to help a little bit more. We've got to make the rotations over so they can't just throw it inside. But both teams have got guys that can shoot threes. So if you help too much, they pitch it out for an easy 3, and you can't give those up. I wouldn't give us any threes if I was playing against us. But then, we're going to hit you inside. And Ryan Quaid can score inside, Gotch, Jordan Evans, Gage, all those guys can score inside as well. So, you know, it's something that travel is tough. You know, we're not gonna give Kingsville any breaks for traveling, but it's gonna be a little bit tougher for them to come up here. We've got to know that, and we've got to take it at them from start to finish and try to build a lead and then continue to build a lead, not let teams back into the game.
Right, going in a little more on this weekend, I mean, Lance kind of went into it on Angela being a senior day. I mean, go a little more in depth, like individually, on what some of those seniors have not just meant like to success here as a program, but to like raise that stature of the program.
Yeah, you know, the 4 seniors that we have are great. Rylan Gerber has already graduated. He will have his master's next semester. You know, that's quite an accomplishment for any student, and then to be able to play 4 years of basketball. And you know, all 4 of these guys, you know, 17 wins in the first year, 21, then 26, currently 22. If you just look at that, those guys are just going up and up and up, and that's something that's very impressive for those players. Now it's on to the next guys next year, Ryan Quaid and Gotch, to continue that, and also as our freshmen. You know, it's something that our younger guys are part of that. It's not just the 4 seniors; it's all 4 of them. But you know, it's going to be tough. It'll be emotional. Those guys are the first kind of the core group that we brought in. David and Tommy, and then Jordan joined us. Actually, and then we had Rylan Germer has already been here. So, you know, it's something that those are our guys, to see them through. Rylan, like I said, is that's where I was going with it. Cut all that stuff out of there. But Rylan has already graduated. Tommy Gove is on track to graduate. David Chadwick is on track to graduate, and so is Jordan Evans. They'll need a couple classes in the summer, but to go for 4 years and to graduate is really tough. Those guys will get it done.
I know you're still focusing on this season, but with, I mean, Jordan Evans and David, do you think they have a chance to play professionally, like overseas or anything?
Yeah, there's
like
no
that?
question. I think those 2 guys will play professionally. You know, I'm getting some letters and some emails and some contacts. Some agents want to get in contact with them, which they can't. But when the season's over, we'll talk more about that. But those guys are good enough to play overseas. You know, Jordan's defense has got to get a little bit better. David, he's got to get a little bit taller. He's working on that. But no, those guys can play. And if you can play at, you know, the LSC is probably the highest Division II level you can play in the country. There's some other really good conferences. But in this league, if you can put up 20 points in this league, you can play overseas. There's been a lot of guys that have been going overseas and playing. Tez Dumars played for us overseas a little bit, and David will have that opportunity. How long he plays, that's probably up to him, and how long his body will last. He's kind of banged up a little bit, but when he's done, hopefully he's coaching somewhere, and maybe we can get him on staff.